The growing trend of villain-centric stories in superhero media has reshaped how fans perceive iconic antagonists. DC's success with the Penguin on HBO is proof that audiences are ready for more in-depth, complex portrayals of villains, particularly those from Batman's rogues gallery. Among these, Mr. Freeze stands out as the ideal candidate for a similarly grounded, compelling story. Redeeming Mr. Freeze after Batman and Robin. Mr. Freeze's last major live-action appearance was in Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin, 1997, where Arnold Schwarzenegger's over-the-top portrayal reduced the character to a pun-heavy caricature. While the film's campy tone alienated fans, it also overshadowed the potential depth of Victor Fry's story. In contrast, modern superhero adaptations have shown that even fantastical villains can be reimagined as complex, relatable characters. As demonstrated by Paul Dini's groundbreaking Heart of Ice episode in Batman, the animated series, Mr. Freeze's tragic origin, a man desperately trying to save his terminally ill wife, Nora, is ripe for a nuanced adaptation. A grounded, emotionally resonant take on the character could finally bring him the redemption he deserves. Two paths for Mr. Freeze in the new DC landscape. With James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC Universe, DCU, in development alongside Matt Reeves' The Batman epic crime saga, there are two clear avenues for Mr. Freeze to make a comeback. Reeves' realistic Gotham. Reeves has expressed interest in adapting Mr. Freeze for his gritty, grounded Gotham. While this approach would strip away some of the character's more fantastical elements, it could enhance his tragedy by focusing on the psychological toll of his obsession with saving Nora. Potential changes. Instead of a freeze gun, Mr. Freeze could use cutting-edge cryogenic technology as a murder weapon. His signature suit could be reimagined as a necessary medical device rather than a comic book-style costume. Tone. Similar to the Batman and the Penguin, this take could highlight the moral gray areas of Victor's actions, making him a sympathetic yet chilling, pun intended, villain. A fantastical DCU adaptation. Alternatively, the DCU could embrace the more comic-accurate version of Mr. Freeze, complete with his freeze gun and metahuman-level technology. In this scenario, his character could fit seamlessly into a larger-than-life world that includes superpowered beings and advanced tech. Tone. The DCU's Mr. Freeze could blend the tragic elements of his backstory with a more menacing, villainous presence, akin to Thanos in Avengers: Infinity War. World-building. This version would allow for ties to other DC heroes and villains, offering a chance to expand the lore around Gotham and its criminal underworld. The tragedy of Victor Fries, a story worth exploring. What sets Mr. Freeze apart from other Batman villains is the strength of his motivation. Unlike the chaos-driven Joker or the power-hungry Bane, Victor Fries' descent into villainy is rooted in love and desperation. He isn't driven by greed or malice, but by the unrelenting desire to save his wife, even at the cost of his humanity. This makes him a prime candidate for a character-driven series or film. A Mr. Freeze-focused story could follow a Breaking Bad-style narrative, chronicling his transformation from a brilliant scientist to a criminal mastermind. Audiences could empathize with his plight while grappling with the moral ambiguity of his actions. What a modern Mr. Freeze could look like. Victor's journey. The series could explore Victor's life before his accident, showcasing his work as a scientist and his relationship with Nora. As his experiments fail and his desperation grows, viewers would witness the emotional and ethical compromises that lead him down a dark path. A darker, more terrifying Freeze. In recent comics, Mr. Freeze has been depicted as increasingly twisted, sometimes using his freeze technology for horrifying purposes. A modern adaptation could lean into this, making him a truly formidable foe for Batman. Themes of loss and obsession. At its core, a Mr. Freeze story would be a meditation on grief, love, and the lengths one might go to defy fate. The Penguin paved the way for villain-centric stories. HBO's The Penguin proved that villain-centric projects can succeed by balancing audience empathy with a reminder of the character's darker nature. Mr. Freeze offers similar potential, combining a heartbreaking origin with the chilling, literally, persona of a Batman villain. Given the success of The Penguin, Warner Brothers and DC would be wise to expand their focus on Batman's rogues gallery. Rumored projects involving Bane and Deathstroke could further explore this trend, but Mr. Freeze is uniquely positioned to follow in the Penguin's footsteps and deliver a compelling, emotionally charged narrative. Conclusion: it's time for Mr. Freeze to step out of the cold and into the spotlight. Whether in Matt Reeves' grounded Gotham or James Gunn's DCU, Victor Fries deserves a reimagining that does justice to his tragic story. By giving him the Penguin-style treatment, DC can revitalize one of Batman's most iconic villains and continue to prove that superhero stories are just as much about the villains as they are about the heroes.